Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube video. As of the point where this video is scheduled to be released, I am currently in Surabaya, Indonesia. So I do hope that you guys are having a great time at home. I'm so sorry I can't be streaming. I hope that this video is enough compensation to the content you're going to be missing out for this week in my channel. Today I'm going to be ranking my tier list for the current meta in Pokemon Unite. So you know how the new buffs and everything have really changed the meta a lot. All buffs, all nerfs do. Today I'm going to be going through all these buffs and informing you guys how I think the meta is now. And you guys, if you disagree or anything, it's completely fine. Please leave your opinions down below and I will have a look at them. So right now you can see my cursor. I'm gonna go around and selecting the the bottom tier D tiers, which will be starting with Gudra. Gudra is the best in the D tier, the best of the worst. By the way, I'm gonna be picking all the movesets that I think are the best for the Mon. If you do want to play the Mon, my moveset pick for Gudra will be Muddy Water and this oh my god, what's the move called? Acid Spray. Because this move can greatly reduce damage, but of course if you want to go for the all-rounder build, you can double stack on these two, Dragon Pulse and Power Whip. You should still be okay, but it's in the D tier because I don't think the scaling is very good. Along with Gudra and the D tier is of course Duraludon again. Wow, this thing has been at the bottom of the meta for so long, even after the buffs. I'm not sure what Teamy is doing with these mons. But yeah, Duraludon is really weak, but if you do want to play it, both movesets are actually fine. If you want the backline cannon, you can go with Flash Cannon, but if you want the frontlining, mid-line, sort of DPS, you can go with the Dragon Pulse build. It's also okay. And then, for the start of the C tier will be Meowscarada. Meowscarada is not a very strong speed stat at the moment, and you know its early game is not very strong until you hit 6, which is you know a very troublesome level for a lot of our mons here, such as Sarina, where the power spikes at level 6. So you need to not only wait until you finish your jungle, but also must do something on the top lane, not die, or farm back your jungle after rotating top to be able to hit your power spike. So Meowscarada over here, but if you want to run it, go Flower Trick and Double Team. Next will be Phalanx. Phalanx was on S tier for quite a while last time, but now it's fallen down to the C tier. If you want to play Phalanx, go Iron Hit, No Retreat. The combo can burst down really well, but I think currently it's not very strong because of the damage nerfs. Beside Phalanx would then be classic old Buzzwole. If you want to play this mon, go Superpower, Smack Archie, Superpower, Leech Life. Both are okay. I prefer Superpower personally, but this thing is very subjective, especially because most of the mons currently have huge mobility. It's very difficult to catch them when you're on Buzzwole. You need to do an eject combo most of the time, or catch them with your Unite move, which is quite expensive. Yeah, and your early game secure can be blocked, so that's also something to consider. Well, right next to Buzzwole in the C tier will be Tyranitar. Where is Tyranitar? There you go. Oh my god, I did not mean to put him the B tier. T-Tar. If you want to run him, you can go Dark Pulse, Sand Tomb. Ancient Power okay, but Sand Tomb is the better move right now. These two are interchangeable depending on what kind of build you're playing. But the reason why Tyranitar is so low is because its early game is just completely useless. If the enemy plays something super early game, like, you know, Sylveon, Leafeon, there's really nothing you can do into a T-Tar, as a T-Tar. But if you want to go, this is the moves I recommend. And then finally in the C tier, yeah, quite a lot of A's and B tiers in this tier list. Finally in the C tier will be the infamous Dragapult. Well, Dragapult just got nerfed. I don't know why. Dragapult was fine, but I got nerfed again in the basic attack speed. So, but if you want to play it, please go Shadow Ball and Phantom Force. This thing plus your Rapid Fire Scarf and your Muscle Band. This is a really strong attacker if you manage to get a lot of kills in the beginning. This one I think you can't solo kill with Dragapult. You really need to play with a teammate. Okay, so to top the B tier would be Clefable. Clefable's a really good anti-speedster Pokemon. To define the B tier is really just your average, you know, run-of-the-mill. I would pick this in a normal team comp. Clefable, very strong anti-assassin, and very strong passive healer for the team. So I think it's a decent pick. You can go Moonlight, Gravity, or follow me depending on your build. Just don't go Draining Kiss. Go Gravity if they're playing a lot of Speedsters. Go this if they're playing a lot of Mage. Go follow me if you're playing a lot of Mage. Yeah, so Gravity and Moonlight. Next to Clef will be your Crustle. Crustle is really strong on either of these moves, Rock Tomb or Shell Smash, plus the X Scissor. It's a really strong defender, especially in the early game. It can really get a lot of secures with the Rock Tomb stun. If you play well with your teammate in your lane, you're gonna get really good catches with the eject combos. Next to Crustle in the B tier will be not Mew. Sylveon. Let me grab Sylveon. Sylveon right there. Sylveon is in the B tier because its early game is really strong, and if you snowball well with Sylveon, I don't think the enemy can kill you. Sylveon's really strong, especially with the Unite move, which can just make it like untouchable and then heal a lot and deal a lot of damage. So yeah, Sylveon's really strong. Next to Sylveon will be Mewtwo Y, which recently got nerfs, but it's still quite strong if you Mega Evolve it. I will go Future Sight and Teleport if they have high mobility. Recover if they don't have high mobility. Personally, I play Teleport. Mewtwo X. EX Pokemon, quite strong now. Next to Mewtwo X is Garchomp. Garchomp is really an underwhelming character, I think. It's a really unassuming character. This is something... yeah, I reiterate, B2S are things you would pick in a competitive draft. Garchomp, really strong on the Dragon build. Good scaling from Gible to Garchomp. The Unite move really strong. If you pair Blissey, it will work very well, but Blissey is not here yet on the tier list. Next will be Zoroark. Zoroark has always been a pretty decent speedster, especially its Feint Attack build. With Shadow Claw, if you launch the combo correctly, you can do devastating things at level 5 alone. You don't even need Shadow Claw to pull off a Feint Attack combo, and then with Shadow Claw, once you get level 7 on top lane, you can do really well. So Zoroark, good pick. It's just that its late game is a bit underwhelming, so you need to be able to control area and snowball properly. Next, beside Zoroark will be Snorlax. Snorlax just got the buffs on Flail, but people still don't play Flailx, they play the Heavy Slam build. If you want to go all-rounder, go Flail and Block, but if you want to go Defender, these two are okay. These two are better. Block and Yawn are interchangeable, I would prefer Yawn. Yeah, you can play this with Eject and just catch the enemies. And if you are playing EXP Share, you can go invade the jungle. Tackle has pretty good secure. Yeah, so that's Snorlax for you. Next, besides Snorlax, also another one who recently got a buff, Azumarill. Azumarill has really strong attacking style with the Aqua Tail build and Water Pulse. So you start off and you secure that level 4 on top lane, and you can start, you know, just whacking away at your enemies. I personally play Drain Crown, although I know it's not a really good item on Azumarill, but Drain Crown really makes the healing a lot. So if you really if you wanna have fun, I guess go Drain Crown Azumarill. Quite fun, the Aqua Tail. Next would be Lucario. Lucario, now if you are good at it, play Extremes, because Extremes is very good. But for beginners and for people who just want to play a safe game, I would suggest the punching build, Power Up Punch and Close Combat, because Lucario's early game is strong, and the late game, it is your emergency secure, you know, the Unite move. Yeah, so Lucario has always been a pretty decent mon, so I put it in the B tier. Next to Lucario is another mon who just got a buff as well. Wow. Gardevoir, the Psychic got a huge buff. Definitely gotta play Psychic, unless enemy has a lot of speedsters. But Psychic, Future Sight is my option. You can play Psychic, Psyshock if the enemy doesn't have good mobility, but yeah, I just play this build. Next will be Inteleon on the B tier. Honestly, I think Inteleon should be higher on this tier list, but I don't want to put it any higher than this. Inteleon's really good. The problem is it is that you need to hit its snipe shots consistently to be able to cook with Inteleon, and even if you do that, currently the healers are really strong, and you know, it might be able to mitigate and nullify, especially in ranked when you're playing Inteleon. Enemies are just gonna body block your shots and everything, so that's gonna be very difficult. But if you do hit your snipe shots consistently, Inteleon's a really good mon. So I put in the B tier around here. Next to Inteleon is the infamous sleeper Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff, now you would go for Sing and Dazzling Gleam or Double Slap. I play Dazzling Gleam for the secure move. But Wiggly has a pretty decent early game actually as a Jigglypuff. It has a good secure with Pound. But then you move on to the late game where you can pair Wiggly with another mon over here, which I will not mention yet. This mon is very strong. And with Wiggly, really does wonders in ranks. Not wonders per se, but yeah, it's just crazy how much they do. Okay, next up in the list is Absol. Now Absol, I personally play Pursuit and oh my god, what's this move? Sucker Punch. Pursuit and Sucker Punch. Because you can do some kiting with Sucker Punch, some stun, and then Pursuit you can use it to combo on your enemies, combo a lot of crits. Really strong character. If you play it in the jungle and you play it well, I'm not talking those backcapping Absols, I'm talking about those Absols that actually play right. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with Absol, especially against, you know, mons like Dodrio who want to run away from you. Following Absol's another speedster, Gengar. Gengar, I personally prefer the Dream Eater build, but Hex is also very strong right now, but this is just my personal preference. The Dream Eater Shadow Ball build is a really strong move at level 7. Gengar can literally do team wipes with this moveset because you just keep getting the resets. Just make sure you do your combos correctly, add the basic attacks in between properly, and don't lose too much in the early game. Yeah, and on Gengar, just make sure you never ever switch up the movesets because both switched movesets are really bad. Now, next beside Gengar is Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is a decently strong supporter because, oh my god, I can't find, because Mr. Mime is a double functioning character. This build can play as a support. This build can play as a defender support. This build can be played as a pure defender. Mr. Mime is really versatile, making it this high in the B tier. Yes, this high because B tier there's more. Mime is really decent. The Unite move really gives a lot of stuns. It's very useful. Next to Mime is Zacian. Zacian, well, thankfully it's no longer in the SS tier, but Zacian is a strong mon when you play this build. Sacred Sword and Agility. This moveset is really strong if you play it properly. You do your boosted basic combo properly. You charge your AOS coins. You know when to score, know when not to score, and your teammates give you the points. You can play Zacian well. The Unite move is probably the strongest secure in the game. So yeah, Zacian is quite the strong mon. Slowbro, on the other hand, will be the next mon. Slowbro kind of fell off a bit after the nerfs, but it's still a decent defender. Why it's in the B tier is because it's not as good as other meta defenders I'm gonna be discussing later in this list, okay? Besides Slowbro will be Machamp. Machamp is a pretty strong top laner. I personally go for the close combat submission build, but you can change in between the builds. I think it's okay. Machamp has a decent early game, good to decent mid game, and pretty average last game depending on how you play it. I usually play Machamp with Eject to set up my Unite move, especially because the new Unite move, you don't have to pre-click it, so enemies can't expect when you will Unite move. Beside Machamp it's an attacker that used to be quite up in the meta. That's Delphox. Delphox is a decent mage, actually very strong if you play around the team, but it's very vulnerable to a lot of assassins, and that's why it's quite low on this B tier. Beside Delphox is Zeraora. Zeraora is very underlooked, I think. I think in Worlds, LG Overlord really did it justice by playing it well. Personally, I play this build, Discharge Spark. You can play Discharge Vault Tackle, but I don't play Wild Charge because it's like Mimikyu but not as good. This moveset plus your Unite move with X attack, or you can play full heal for safety concerns. X attack really can burst down, just straight up burst down any, I think, all-rounder. Yeah, you play Gyarados or Dragonite, you can burst it down with a Zera combo. Besides Zera would be a Scizor, namely Scyther, because the Scyther moveset is very strong, but only under specific circumstances. It depends on who you play, or sorry, it depends on who is playing it and the enemy's team comp. Because if the enemy's team comp has a lot of CC, it's very difficult to play Scyther, even if you have full heal, unless you have Safeguard Blissey. Besides Scyther will be Aegislash. Aegislash is actually quite a strong character and has really good combos, really good scaling. Issue is its early game is trash. Honedge is very bad at secure, very bad at the early game. Yeah, if you're playing against Aegislash, I would suggest against going too far or overextending. Don't give the Aegislash levels. If you are playing Aegislash, play Shadow Claw, or Shadow Claw for high mobility, Sacred Sword for more tanky mons, and your Safeguard. This combo is quite nice. Beside Aegislash, is a mage just like Delphox. I'd say Chandelier. Chandelier, I play Flamethrower in Prison. Chandelier is about the same as Delphox, just not as good because it takes a bit longer to activate, I would say. Delphox has a bit better secure, a bit better mobility, a bit better, you know, the Unite move very strong for pushing. But Chandelier is slightly under Delphox only because it faces the same issue Delphox does. But it's not as good at pushing at offense. Besides Chandelier is Sarina. Sarina should be higher on this tier list actually, but once again that level 6 power spike is quite annoying to get to. But if you play it with an early game with an early game jungler, I think Sarina can work quite well. If you're playing Sarina, I suggest the Stomp and Dropkick moveset. Very strong with the slows and the double stun. You can triple stomp if you know how to do the combo. Next to Sarina will be Cramorant. Cramorant, everyone's favorite bird. Used to be very meta, now I would say Dive. Hurricane is a decent build. Just its early game is good, very good. Mid game very good, but late game it sort of falls off a bit, but still a strong mon. Beside Cramorant, I would put Decidueye. Now Decidueye can be played well, can be done right, but that is under very specific situations, like enemy can't flank, enemy can't reach, enemy can't snipe you, like an intel. Yeah, then Deci is really strong. Same is the case for Mew actually. Sorry, Deci, I forgot to mention the movesets. Play Spirit Shackle and Shadow Sneak. For what comes after Deci is Mew. Now Mew, obviously I wouldn't need to specify a moveset, but if you're playing Mew, now it's a bit underrated. I know last time I used to say, oh, Mew is always S tier, always S tier, always S tier, but now it's much harder to outplay with Mew, especially because it does not deal enough damage, enough burst damage. You need good teammates around you to play a good Mew game. That's the big issue about Mew. Next would be Sableye. Sableye is next to Mew. Now if you put Sableye in the right hand, this thing is a beast, but for the most part it isn't in the right hand. So if you want to play it, knock off and Confuse Ray, but just make sure that your teammates are there to follow up when you play Sableye. Next to Sableye is Charizard. After the nerfs, wow, its basic attack deals no damage, bro. If you want to play Flamethrower, Fire Blast. Quite a strong mon, only with the Unite move, because the Unite move can pick up, you know, unstoppable mons, but other than that, I think Charizard's a bit underwhelming right now. Following Charizard is Blastoise. Blastoise has a good secure early game, but it kind of falls off towards the mid game and late game, especially because its Unite move is one little spin of a circle and it's kind of done, you know, one and done. But if you're playing the defender build, play Surf and Hydro Pump. Next to Blastoise will be Cinderace. Now Cinderace, once again, I mean, some Cinders are actually kind of cracked, but Blaze Kick and Feint is your move if you want to play it. Honestly, if you want the safer build, play Pyro Ball, but I think Blaze Kick is more fun, you know. Next to Cinder will be the Comfey pick. Comfey always goes well with a nice assassin, but this thing is kind of troublesome because it kind of amplifies the strength of overpowered mons all the time. So yeah, that's not something I'll put all the way up there. Okay, now we are done with the B tier. We will start on the A tier, starting off with Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is the top of A tier, not the S tier last time it was. Now it's at the A tier. Primarily because Ho-Oh isn't very strong in terms of damage and bulk anymore after the nerfs. But if you use the revive correctly and you position yourself correctly, keep the right amount of coins, this thing can do a lot for your team. After Ho-Oh would come Leafeon. Leafeon's your go-to early game speedster, does a lot just at level 4, and then level 6 does a lot more. Level 8, the scaling is amazing, and if you're able to keep up the pressure, you can play Leafeon really well. Don't play Solar Blade right now. Razor Leaf and Aerial Ace are your picks if you want to play Leafeon. Next to Leafeon will be Blissey, a very strong supporter. Now Blissey, usually you will go for the egg build, but if you are playing with a Mewtwo Y, play the Safeguard Helping Hand build. But I would say this would be a most common build for Blissey if you don't play Mewtwo Y, because I think people will ban Mewtwo Y in drafts after Mewtwo Bliss, or they will ban Bliss. Bliss is a more reasonable ban. Okay, following Bliss will be Glaceon. Glaceon's Icy Wind, really strong right now. You would want to play Freeze Dry and Icy Wind. Of course, the Icicle Spears builds are alright, but that's really specific to how it goes. But the Icy Wind build is super strong, can half an Espeon's HP if I'm not wrong, if you launch the combo correctly. And you get the blue buff plus cooldown build, it's really strong right now. Okay, next to Glaceon will be Hoopa. Hoopa's a really strong supporter. When played in the right hands, its hoops really gives the team a lot of mobility, a lot of clutch plays. And if you need to push, you can always set down your Hoopa Unite Portal. It's a really strong mon, I think. After Hoopa will be your Mewtwo Y. Of course, the infamous Mewtwo Y just got buffed. Never in my life would I have thought Mewtwo Y get buffed, but if you want to play it, play Future Sight, Teleport. It is the meta moveset right now. Do not play Side Strike or Recover because it's not as good as these two moves combined. Okay, after Mewtwo Y is Espeon. Now Espeon is an interesting case because the moves that got buffed are not the moves normally played. Usually you would play Stored Power Psy Beam, but now, for me at least, I play Future Sight Psy Shock. Because Psy Shock can secure and Future Sight can reset my Psy Shock if I kill. And that's something that I want to use as an Espeon, because Espeon, you need to aim your Psy Shock correctly to use this moveset well. Speaking of aim it correctly, Trevenant. Trevenant's Wood Hammer is an amazing tool for catching enemies, especially high mobility speedsters, because the permastun Trevenant gives and the range in which Trevenant can catch is really huge. If you position your Wood Hammer well and displace your enemies nicely, you can even set up for a 5-man kill to your own Leafeon if you play it right. After Trevenant would be Urshifu. Urshifu Black Bear specifically. Blue Bear is not very good right now. If you want to play Blue Bear, you have to ban Clefable or take Clefable. Clefable doesn't work well with Shifu. So yeah, the Black Bear is really strong because the Secure is strong. You can play Wicked Blow with eject button and it's also strong. And not to mention Throat Chop is also a nice mobility move to set up for kills. And of course the Unite move, we have to talk about the Unite move, right? For Dark Bear, the Unite move is really strong. You can just insta kill an attacker, insta kill our backline. Yeah, this mon deserves to be in the A tier for good reason. Only issue is the early game needs to be babysit by one of its teammates, but other than that, it's fine. After Urshifu is Mamoswine. Mamoswine is a pick that I would always go for if I can't pick Trevenant or other defenders that I will mention later in the video. Mamoswine is a strong mon when you play the Ice Fang Earthquake build. Earthquake is good for catching, and Ice Fang is nice for permastun. Following Mamo will be Miraidon. Miraidon, you can play both movesets, but it depends on what the enemy plays. If enemy plays high mobility, I would suggest Electro Drift and Parabolic Charge. Other than that, play Charge Beam and Thunder, because this moveset is kind of strong, and the Unite move, really strong meteors. So yeah, Unite, Miraidon has really great early game and really insane late game. Really strong mon right now in A tier. Next to Miraidon will be Eldegoss. Eldegoss is a strong supporter, and honestly quite a go-to supporter compared to all the others I have mentioned so far. Because Eldegoss has nice DPS as well in the early game. If you give it the red buff, split the red buff with the jungler, Eldegoss can do wonders for the top lane in the early game. Alright, now following LD will be Pikachu. Pikachu is a classic pick, but it's not as strong as it was in the previous meta. I will go with Electro Ball, Volt Tackle, but of course you can always interchange the moves depending on what the enemy plays. But usually you want to play Thunder for mages, Volt Tackle for assassins. This is nice, and you can also play a Pocket Mage using Pikachu where you equip the EXP share item. Okay, Pikachu follows with Alolan Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales, specifically the Aurora Veil build, even though Blizzard got buffed. Blizzard is still strong, by the way, don't get me wrong, but the Aurora Veil build is nice when you're playing the basic attack, special attack build. Ninetales can do a lot for your team and freeze a lot because of the new ability buff. Next to Ninetales is obviously your go-to early game, mid game, all-rounder Gyarados. I always go Dragon Breath and Bounce. No one plays Waterfall, no one plays Aqua Tail, but this Dragon Breath and Bounce really strong for ripping objectives, ambushing opponents. And the Unite move, you can't touch it, it's unstoppable. It's an unstoppable Unite move. You can't kill him while underwater either, so yeah, Gyarados will always be in the A tier unless they reduce the damage or something. But after Gyarados, you will see the Ceruledge play. Ceruledge, even after the nerf, it's still strong. Why? Because you can play Phantom Force and Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut is a nice replacement for Bitter Blade, because although Bitter Blade does give the healing, after it got nerfed, Psycho Cut is still a strong move to get a lot of nice hits on the enemy. Especially after you just came out of your Phantom Force. Of course, the Unite move of Ceruledge, we don't talk about that, it's way too strong. But yeah, really strong one here. And after talking about Ceruledge, there's no avoiding Armarouge. Armarouge also a really strong Pokemon. I would say go Armor Cannon and Psyshock. I think that's the move, Psyshock. Because this move can do nice secure, do nice stuns. Especially Armor Cannon, and Armor Cannon Plus has really insane range in my opinion. So, and the Unite move is quite good for saving yourself or setting up for a teammate. So yes, Armarouge, really strong one following Ceruledge. After this is Dodrio. Dodrio in the Drill Pack High Jump Kick build. Sorry, not Drill Pack. Tri Attack. You can play Drill Pack of course, but Tri Attack. Don't play Agility as much as you can unless the enemy has a lot of CC. Then you can play Agility to try to use the unstoppability to dodge the enemy. But ideally, you'd want to play the Jump Kick to avoid and to really kite and basic attack the enemy as much as possible. Stun the enemy as much as possible. Okay, now we have entered a late A tier, and you see right now all these mons are mons you would pick in a draft. Starting off with Greedent. Greedent just got buffed, and I'm telling you, Covered Belch is a really strong moveset right now. If you play it with stacking items, this thing is quite unstoppable. It really nullifies what a lot of pretty good Pokemon can do. For example, Pokemon that require stuns like Machamp, Submission can't grab, Zoroark can't stun with Feint Attack, Buzzwole can't grab Greedent at all, so yeah, Greedent's a very strong Pokemon. Following Greedent will be Dragonite. Dragonite has always been a safe pick, sort of a safe pick for the jungler, because the Hyper Beam secure and the Dragon Dance gives it quite nice combat capability, and the Unite move can help it escape as well. Okay, next to Dragonite is Metagross. Metagross is pretty good late gamer, and the Gyro Ball is pretty good. Gyro Ball is pretty good for outplaying enemies. But speaking of outplay, if you want to play Metagross, play Gyro Ball and Meteor Mash. Speaking of outplay, you can play Blaziken with Eject Button. Always play with Eject Button. Obviously, I don't need to pick a moveset for Blaziken, but Blaziken is a really strong Pokemon, especially in the late game. And if you can pair it with a Black Urshifu, that would be nice. One of them jungle, Urshifu jungle, Blaziken top lane. Nice secure at the Ray fight. And nice ripping capability. Okay, following Blaziken is Talonflame. Talonflame is a pretty strong Pokemon. especially with the fly moveset, but of course this is my preferred moveset, but if you play Brave Bird well, if you can play Brave Bird, yes, play Brave Bird and Aerial Ace into depending on what the enemy comp is, but normally Fly and Flame Charge is nice to kite the enemies. Okay, and the last Pokemon, sorry, not the last Pokemon, second last Pokemon in the A tier is Venusaur. Venusaur is a really strong backlining Pokemon. It has nice reach, really insane damage with the Unite move plus Energy Amp and one nice Solar Beam plus the defense reduction from Sludge Bomb. Venusaur does a lot of damage. It can one-shot a lot of people in that area. And the last in A tier will be Greninja. Greninja last in A tier, but is still a really nice assassin. You can play Surf Smoke Screen if you're good at it, but otherwise play Water Shuriken and Double Team if you are playing into assassins who can stun you like Zoroark. Keep your distance as a Gren. Okay, and we have reached our 4 finalists for the S tier. I will go do the S tier bottoms up, starting with Mimikyu. Mimikyu is your number 4 in the S tier. I always go with this moveset, but you can play Rough. The enemy is squishy. Play Shadow Claw with full heal and stacks if you are Mimikyu, and you can team wipe quite well with as long as you hit your Shadow Sneak. That's why it's almost always a ban in the enemy team. S tier and A tier are the Pokemon I'm talking that might be banned by the enemy team. Before Mimikyu, which is number 3 on the list, would be Umbreon. Umbreon is also a strong defender, always has been a strong defender. Foul Play Snarl will be your build if you want to play the bottom lane. I always play these 3 items: EXP Share, Focus Band, and Float Stone. All nice for catching the enemy. If you want, you can substitute Float Stone for Eos Cookie, but if you can outplay well, I think you can play Float Stone and you're still gonna do just fine. Umbreon is a really strong defender, so it's always a nice addition to your team, and its ability, its passive can help it nullify a lot of CC that may come your way. Number 2 is Lapras. Lapras, personally, I play this moveset. If you've seen my recent tournament, yes, I play Ice Beam and Parasong because it's a very strong moveset for setting up kills and for defending goal zones. But of course, you can always play top lane Lapras or defender Lapras. Both are really strong movesets. Lapras's Unite move also acts like, if you guys get this reference, Mobile Legends Bang Bangs Johnson. So it always brings your teammate to set up an opportunity, be it kill, be it score or whatever, or come back to defend. Always a nice mon to have. And finally is Darkrai. Now this mon is infamous right now in the meta for being absolutely annoying to deal with. That's why a lot of people call it Gaemon. This is the moves I want to play, okay? Dark Pulse and Dark Void, but of course you can always replace Dark Pulse with Nasty Plot if you are even more gay. I'm referring to you, Silver. This moveset is really incredibly difficult to beat. Because it can one-shot a lot of assassins, a lot of low health Pokemon, especially at level 5, it just does so much damage. So yeah, Darkrai is there for you. I'm waiting for it to get a nerf. So yeah, just to reiterate, this is my tier list for the current meta. I will repeat it one more time. In the S tier, we have Darkrai, Lapras, Umbreon, Mimikyu. A tier, you have the Ho-Oh, Leafeon, Blissey, Glaceon, Hoopa, Mewtwo Y, Espeon, Trevenant, Urshifu Dark, Mamoswine, Miraidon, Eldegoss, Pikachu, Alolan Ninetales, Gyarados, Ceruledge, Armarouge, Dodrio, Greedent, Dragonite, Metagross, Blaziken, Talonflame, Venusaur, and Greninja. And finally, next the B tier, Clefable, Crustle, Sylveon, Mewtwo X, Garchomp, Zoroark, Snorlax, Azumarill, Lucario, Gardevoir, Inteleon, Wigglytuff, Absol, Gengar, Mr. Mime, Zacian, Slowbro, Machamp, Delphox, Zeraora, Scyther, Aegislash, Chandelier, Sarina, Cramorant, Decidueye, Mew, Sableye, Charizard, Blastoise, Cinderace, and Comfey. In the C tier you have Meowscarada, Phalanx, Buzzwole, Tyranitar, and Dragapult, and finally the D tier is Goodra and Duraludon. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks here. Feel free to comment, feel free to share this video, leave a like, and I hope I can see you guys the next time I come back and I'm able to stream for you guys. Thank you everyone.